What's up, Internet? Before we get going here, we just want to say thanks for watching. And if you don't mind, give us a quick like and subscribe to the channel. It makes a big difference on our end and it helps grow our channel. So without any further ado, let's get to business. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the kingdom. As always, my name is Drums, and we are back to our regular scheduled program, joined again by the brothers behind King Golf, Regan and Jordan Headley. We'll head up north, see how things are going up there with our buddy Reg. What's going on, guy?
Fellas, good to see you guys again. Seems like it's been a month. Oh, things are good. We're supposed to get a big snowstorm tonight. I got one Caesar down, bottle of MGD waiting for me. It's not bad. I know, a little weird choice, but I actually really like it.
Is that the new go-to?
No, I don't know. It's tough to buy Bud Light bottles, so it's just nice to drink bottles. So whatever I can get my hands on.
Gotcha.
I do.
MGD, why MGD ever?
Ever had?
Ever been?
Have had.
And?
Didn't like.
It's just heavy. It's just heavy Miller Lite.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying I would probably take 30 beers ahead of that one, but anyways, that's your business.
Somebody left
Good
them
thing
there,
about
didn't
it is, no, I actually bought him. Good thing about it is, Jory, you're not drinking it, so I'll enjoy it.
Touche.
That's right.
Shut your yap.
That's right.
But we'll head over to you now. Jor, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, top of the evening to you, boys. Good to see you again, Rigo. Good to have you back. Spent about an hour waiting for you to poke your head in last week, but you never showed up. So the show went on with Dal. Dal was a pretty good addition, actually. He had some good insights, good takes on things, a little bit different perspective, although he is getting pretty damn good at golf. Played Deer Ridge with him on Sunday. Went out Sunday. So crazy. Second year in a row, we got to golf in November out at Deer Ridge there. Dal played pretty good, and everybody actually played pretty good. It was Dal, Colton, and Keith and myself, and it was surprisingly nice. I had my long johns on in 3 layers and didn't need it even. It was about 7 or 8 degrees, but the sun was out and there was hardly any wind, and we were walking, so you stay warm that way. And that's it. That's Dal had a good insight on Marshalls, which was kind of the main takeaway from last week. That was the hit. So got some action on that one.
Yeah, I saw that actually. I saw the clip of it.
Pretty good take.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
What
I just don't know. I don't know how many courses around here actually have Marshalls. I know Gilbert doesn't really have one.
True.
Well, most of the ones are like Wheat City does.
Yeah.
Glen Lee does.
Do they?
Yeah.
Wheat City does? I've never seen one there.
Glen
Or
Lee
you mean the
too?
starter?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Wheat City has one every round.
Oak Lake
Every round. No, I don't think so.
No.
But I'm thinking Dallas was directed towards Wheat City.
Yeah, I think so.
But a lot of Marshalls are like that too, so it is kind of just a common theme. But anyways, that's me. How are you, Drums?
All good over here, man. Listen, I had a little.
You had a weekend getaway.
We had a little getaway on the weekend. Yeah. What was that place called? I gotta make sure I get the correct name.
Was it Deadly?
Nature's Hideaway. So it's just this lady and her husband have a farmyard, and they have a couple cabins just kind of off. There's a little lake in their yard or on their property as well. So they got a couple cabins that they rent out just there. So we did that Saturday. Sorry.
Was it Dwight?
Dwight
and Moe's?
Shrew Farms. Yeah. We got to pick beets. There's an outing. That was our supper. But no, it was just kind of a simple little cabin, just jacuzzi, bed, couch, TV, barbecue. It was perfect. So we got caught up on a bit of sleep without baby was at Nan and Papa's. So it It was a good little getaway, much needed.
Seem
Hey,
refreshed.
Recharged.
quickly on that. Why? How do people pick their grandma, grandpa, nana, papa, nana, doo doo?
I don't know.
What's cuckoo?
Cuckoos.
Yeah, Sheldon and Chucky Bones' grandma's was named Cuckoo.
Because an Aboriginal grandma is Kukum.
Kukum, yeah, but they called her Cuckoo, right?
They call her Cuckoo, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like Baba for Ukrainian, but like, how do you get to Nana and Papa?
I honestly think it's just personal preference.
It is, yeah. Like her parents were grandparents before Luca, and they were already Nana and Papa. So we just kept with it. But like
your parents,
grandma, grandpa.
Oh,
my dad's mom and dad, to every other grandkid are Nanny and Papa, but to me they're grandma and grandpa. I just didn't like saying Nanny and Papa. I was like, sounds.
We got the same with Grandma Joyce. Everybody else calls her Baba, and we don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like the sounds of it.
Yeah, I think it's just personal preference.
Yeah.
I think Dad wants to be called Patron.
Patron.
Yeah, he said it's from one of his shows. It's from one of his shows, and
Narcos.
His name's Tron, and he will be the paw, so he wants to be Patron.
That's
Patron.
beauty.
Yeah,
you guys got to get on it.
We have to have kids in order for that to happen. Anyways, let's get down to business here, boys.
Do it. You got some golf takes for us? We were a little short last week.
I was watching Vic on Sunday. I didn't have much going on, so I was watching him. Holy shit, man. That guy is so likable.
Right?
Like, unbelievable.
How about that shit-eating grin he's always got on?
All the time, man.
Right?
Yeah. It looks like he's ripped at all times.
Yeah, he does.
And then every interview just looks big.
And then he starts like laughing, and it makes him even more big. Yeah.
What did he say that one time? No weed or something, or less weed, or he said in the interview something about weed.
Well, I saw he was doing an interview.
Anyways,
back in his college days, and he was talking about Twitter, and yeah, he just kind of went off on a tangent, and I was like, "How high is this guy right now?"
Yeah, his eyes were bloodshot too.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's so likable, and he actually came in at the same time as Wolf, who I kind of had notes on here too. He's back, maybe better than ever. I would say more mentally strong than he was before. It seems like I saw one of his interviews, and he just said he's basically got his head on his shoulders now, and he might have overburnt himself he kind of got a win early in his career there. And then he thought that was going to be every weekend. And so he started playing every weekend thinking that he was going to win, and he didn't. And they talked about how that can have a very big mental toll on young golfers thinking they come out of college. He was like one of the most winningest. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like he won a lot in college. And Morikawa didn't actually win in college at all. And then he's kind of been the one that's been winning on tour. But those three kind of came at the same time, Hovland, Morikawa, and Wolf. And it's good to see Hovland, man. I don't know. He's, like I said, a very likable guy. Very easy to cheer for.
There's a good size crop of kind of very easy guys to root for.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed maybe more to 5 years ago, or I don't know. You guys know how I feel about that crop of like Thomas, Spieth, and Berger. I just didn't get a good vibe from those guys. And these guys I really do like.
Yeah, and then like I'll flip flop on that other crowd too. Like sometimes I'll like JT, sometimes he bugs you. But so far with these other guys, it's just you can't. I don't have a bad word about them yet.
Those other guys were good for the game too, though. I would say. But what else here? Cockrell is in this weekend. After he moved home for the unforeseen future, he caught a break and got into a tournament. I don't know if you guys caught his Instagram story. He was warming up. That was actually I messaged him and asked him where, and I meant to ask him like where the tournament was, and he said this is actually in the Cogfather's garage. So Jordan, that's where he was practicing.
Really?
In Cog's garage. So that's hilarious. That's his money guy and Rip's money guy drums. So we golfed with him last year at St. Charles. It was actually late October, I think, last year too. But so that's where he was. So we got a good laugh out of that.
So he has a sim in his garage then, Cogs?
Yeah.
That's sick.
Oh yeah. Of course he does. What do you mean? Of course he does.
Making that money,
Yeah,
boy.
that's true.
The
That's a lot of-
Cogfath. So that's exciting to see him back. I had a couple other things. That the European Tour officially changed their name today to the DP World Tour, not the DP World Tour. I think it confused a lot of people online, thinking that they rebranded as a World Tour.
Yeah,
but it's actually just the name of the company is DP World. So it is a play on words a bit, especially with all the bullshit going on right now with Greg Norman and what he's trying to do with golf. It's definitely got a lot of people confused right now, but it is.
Is he not in Asia or something?
He's trying to basically make take away from the PGA Tour.
Well, that's what I thought this was. I thought this was like the Super League that had they'd been talking about trying to get going, and I think it's I think it's a Dubai company. This,
yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's what I thought when I first saw it this morning, and then realized, oh, it's just a name change. What the fuck is it?
I'm thinking that there's got to be a lead. It's got to be leading somewhere. If they decided on that name. Yeah, I don't think that they would just choose that name if they didn't have some sort of intention of turning it into a world tour.
I don't know. I think that company, I did a little bit of research, and I think they're a pretty powerful company. And I got to thinking it's not much different than, I guess the play on words is different, but like the Corn Ferry Tour. I mean, that's just a company, right? It's just, we already have it in the States where the tours are just named after companies. Like, what did it used to be called? The Corn Ferry?
This is a buy.com and
yeah, buy.com tour or web.com. Yeah.
Web.com or whatever. There's been a few names. Yeah.
So I guess you could look into it and think that they're trying to make it the World Tour, but I think it's actually, because I think those guys have a big tournament, the DP World Dubai Open or something.
Well, especially if it's from Dubai. Like if that's the company that's doing it, they have to have some sort of intention of turning it into that.
Well, yeah, for sure. There's maybe a chance, but also I think it's a good opportunity for some big time sponsorship money to boost up the purses and boost up the fields. Because when there's a tournament in Dubai, all these guys go over there. So,
and like this company from Dubai, you're not going to be a company from Dubai and not have a shitload of money.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't know.
What's Greg Norman doing? I'm not familiar with this one.
I'd have to Google a little bit deeper into it. I just saw it all over Twitter that he's basically trying to pry the PGA Tour players away from the PGA.
Like with this Super League thing? Is he part of that? Oh, okay.
I feel like that's what it is.
Is Norman filthy or what? Like,
I think he did very well on investments.
You mean filthy like greasy?
No, like rich.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess he must be. Yeah, well, he's the shark, man.
I don't know that he's the owner, though. I think that he's just like the operator of it.
Oh, is he?
I think so. I don't know. I saw something on too, but anyways.
I'll have follow up. I'll have that for housekeeping next week. I'll do some Greg Norman facts.
Quickly on that, I got to say, I started watching, or Kel and I started watching that F1 stuff that you guys have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty good. I'll give you that. And there's a lot of things that the kind of the fascinating part to me about it is just like seeing the different places of the world. There's a few countries like that. Baku is
never
sick. Even heard of it before. Yeah. And then there's Singapore too. Like I thought that Singapore was like kind of a poor country, and then it just looked like a different planet to me. I mean, it's like seeing the world, but like kind of a story being told around this wild racing stuff. Like I never ever would have imagined that people put their whole lives into racing. Like you look at every driver in the field, and they've been racing go-karts since they were 5 years old. And I mean, we see that in like golf and hockey, but we don't have any buddies that ever grew up racing freaking go-karts. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I told you. Like, it's like the NHL over there. It's the NHL in Europe. is bigger.
Except
It's way bigger.
it's even more. It's a lot more political though too.
Oh, so political. It's disgusting.
Yeah, but and I can't imagine what it would look like if they did something like that in the golf world, like in Europe at some of those courses, and in Dubai and Spain and wherever Cockerell was last year, where there was a giraffe crossing the road. Where was that?
Africa.
Like, wouldn't that just be so
Where
cool to see?
else would there be a giraffe?
Is that the only place that there's giraffes? Africa?
I would say so.
I'm
but I
going to
don't
go
know that for sure.
99% on that.
Probably a couple in Russia, I bet.
And maybe
There's got to be some in China.
maybe Carol Baskin's got some.
In China, they probably just nab them from Africa.
But the thing that really impressed me with that show is just that, like, everything that you're wondering while you're watching it is answered within the next 20 minutes to half an hour. Like, it's crazy, actually. How well made it is. Like, you're never really just watching it just to fill time. Like, it's like so, like, everything in the whole series just has such a meaning into the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's really well written, I found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Good storylines.
Cool.
Sorry, is it episodes every Sunday, or are you talking you're watching races now?
I'm watching the races.
Jesus Christ.
And but first one we watched was the US Grand Prix. Set the record for the most attendance ever in the history of F1. That's how big the Netflix effect is. I think I talked about this last episode, but
Yeah.
like, we sat down and like just tried to watch the start, and then once you start watching it, like, it's addicting, man. It's unbelievable how well done it is. Just the whole everything about it. Stike said well, I'll get into it more after you watch the drums. We'll recap it. But
it's just crazy how much money is in that sport. Like, the whole thing's kind of based on how much money you have and how much your sponsors can contribute to your team. But I still think that you have to have some level of skill, or else you'd get exposed pretty quick if you're, even if you had $1 billion back, and if you're a shitty driver, you're not going to last very long in that space. There's only 20 drivers and 20 seats in the world for. It's just so crazy how fast they go. I never had imagined that they go that fast.
Shake and bake, baby.
It's pretty cool.
That's NASCAR.
Yeah, that's NASCAR. These guys don't go around in circles. These guys go through tracks, like sick tracks.
Like
All right.
drums.
I could get on board with that way more than NASCAR.
Back to housekeeping here. Just one last thing two things, I guess. We'll get to our contest after this. I saw a tweet today, and it kind of made me think about it. That ref last night that hip checked that guy's drum sleeping right now. That ref that headbutted that guy or hip checked that guy. Did you guys see that in football?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And then threw a flag down.
Hockey.
Yeah.
Like, the ref stepped in front of him and then threw a flag down.
Yeah. He gave him a penalty for hitting the ref after he initiated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
Unbelievable.
Somebody had money
Crazy.
on the game.
Like, does that guy actually think with all the camera angles, does he think he's going to get away with that? Like, is that what his thought was?
That'll be his last game. No, I guarantee you he had money on the game.
So the coolest part about it is that somebody tweeted today that might be one of the best parts about the game of golf and the PGA is just that ref/umpire/ whoever calls the games can't really dictate how a golf game ends, right? I mean, there's certain rulings.
Remember that dipshit
DJ
that was sitting on his living room that called that
DJ.
in? Yeah.
Okay, but that's once. You know what I mean? Like, you watch baseball games. Baseball games are ruined by the umps. Hockey games, bad calls ruin games all the time. Football games, crazy. Golf, there is none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we can basically point out the one time that it did happen in golf.
Yeah, once.
Just to it shows how rare it is, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's somebody tweeted that today. I thought it was a really interesting thing that you'd never really think about until it gets brought up. We
should just quickly mention that I think at this point, people could have figured it out. But if this episode sounds a little bit scrambly and all over the place, it's because we've had to restart a couple times. So we can't really get into the flow that we usually do in the rhythm. So just forgive us for that for this episode. But this is a really good promotion for Theta because Theta would solve all of our broadband issues. So bye, Theta.
Well, what do you got there, Reggie?
Sure, why don't you recap the contest?
We got a contest we had a couple weeks ago on Instagram, just something fun to get some engagement from our pals on Instagram there. So we had a picture that was taken at Rigo's Stag at Moon Lake in Saskatoon, and there's 16 guys, and we just posed the question, how many King golf hats were we wearing? Because it was kind of hard to tell. There were some sunglasses on. Drums was like this, so you could not see it, which I think threw about 5 people off. But the correct answer was 10. So we had, I think, 6 or 7 people that guessed correctly. And we're going to give away, I think, either a ball marker or a sweater or a hat or something. We haven't decided. It'll kind of depend on what the person wants, to be honest with you. So Rigo's going to draw for it now. What do we got? Mr. Huey, the man.
Mr. Huey. We'll have to reach out to him. Congrats.
Yeah, Wilson. I think he's actually in Yukon.
Oh boy.
So yeah, we might.
You can tell that wasn't fixed.
Oh, whoops.
Oh.
He has to pay he has to pay the shipping.
No, maybe we'll send him one of the ball markers. That'll be pretty cheap to ship, or whatever he wants. Who knows?
We'll send you a ball marker, collect on delivery.
If he's listening, that's pretty cool. I'm sure he'd be jacked up. Although we have said Huey a few times on the podcast, so if he's a listener, he's getting his money worth for sure.
Or not.
But, is that all we got for the housekeeping and stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Last week we had Dal on here. We talked about the ways that we would improve the game of golf if it was up to us, if we were the commissioners of golf. And the fans, I guess, the community, I guess you'd call it. I don't like calling it followers because that's kind of a stupid thing to say, but the King Golf community,
the Kingdom
community had a lot of good things to say and a lot of good ideas. So we discussed it last week. If you haven't watched that episode, it's definitely worth a listen to or a watch. And we want to give Rigo a chance to share some of his thoughts because he had to miss last week's episode. And so just a couple points, I guess, Rigo, your thoughts and ideas on the subject.
Yeah, I just picked out a few of them, I guess, that I found interesting. I mean, they're all interesting, but I couldn't go through the whole list that you guys did last week. First off, Teddy, not a fan of that comment, lefties.
Oh, yeah, not Teddy. I thought you meant Foxy.
Didn't really like that, but whatever.
Well, somebody said that they should be executed. That was Jordy Lutz. He didn't say lefty should be executed, but he said that whoever doesn't repair divots and ball marks should be executed.
Yeah, it's quite
then
different.
It tied into lefties also being executed. So it was kind of a wild show last week. It got a little bit off the rails at times with the executions and stuff like that. But yeah, nobody's really a fan of that. Lefties are taking over the world.
The cost of clubs were
it was cost of golf.
Well, no, but there's cost of clubs on there too.
Was there? Okay.
Yeah. And I agree with that. We're kind of getting sewered by the demand in golf right now. Companies basically feel like they could charge whatever the hell they want.
Yeah.
That sub 70 seems to have a really competitive golf product for a cheaper price. I think that there's a lot of room for somebody like that in the game of golf right now. Maybe a TaylorMade, maybe a Titleist, maybe I don't know, somebody like that. Instead of having these,
what do you mean?
Instead of having these $1,200 to $1,800 performance irons, I would say that they're with everybody joining the game right now. Not everybody's going to buy a $1,200 set of irons, and everybody has their clubs that they got from their dad, who got it from their grandpa, that hasn't really golfed before. And I think if there was kind of there's not a set that's $600 that's good enough for a starting golfer. Like, I guess there is, but they're complete shit.
Yeah, and we don't know who they are even.
Like,
you know
for
what
a
I mean?
whole set? Like, my irons were only $400.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But there
So that's
used to
not
be
bad.
too. Like there was like there
Bargain
was
shopper, baby.
Strata.
I think Strata still exists.
I just feel like if one of those companies came in with a complete set where somebody could just walk in and spend $600-750 for a total set, bag and all, I think that they would have a big market right now for people just joining the game.
I believe that Callaway does.
Oh, they do?
I believe it's through Costco. I think it's like an exclusive.
Costco has made a big impact on the game of golf, actually.
I think it's an exclusive like Costco deal that like this set is only available through them. I'm not sure. I'm just remember seeing this somewhere, or it's a Kirkland brand, but it's made by Callaway.
Right.
Kirkland might be the ones doing that, and they because they have wedges, they have those balls. Those balls are actually pretty solid.
I believe all Kirkland golf stuff is actually Callaway made. I think they might just have some kind of
not the balls.
You don't think so?
Like the same design, or because they're totally different than a Callaway ball. They're more like a Pro V.
Yeah, I thought everything with Kirkland would have been under the same.
It could be.
But yeah,
they got wedges too that are supposed to be like Vokies though.
I think they were. Yeah, I thought they were Cleveland's. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they've got kind of deals with everybody. Knows? I mean, they might just buy their old molds and make them, right? Like I'm sure
that's
you
what I
do
figured
that.
what they did.
Yeah,
yeah.
Anyways, last one, and I thought it was the most important to me, and the divot should be ground under repair. Like, it just makes absolutely no sense why you're hitting it in the fairway and you're not getting relief from it, especially if you consider the fact that the person who's in first place on a Sunday in a golf tournament is going out after everybody else in the tournament. So there's more of a chance of him hitting it in a divot than anybody else. Right. He's going to get penalized for hitting the fairway. I can't believe, like, I'd like to hear the reasoning why that's still the way it is. Like, I'd like to hear them explain why.
What do you think the reason is?
I think it's because it's so old fashioned that you have to play as it lies everywhere.
Like, there can't be, there isn't a logical answer, but there can't be any other answer than that. That's not even a logical answer.
Personally, I've never played out of a divot before because in any event that I've played in, it's usually
lifts clean.
Yeah. Is Tamarack usually, can you move it in the fairway?
Well, the last couple of years because it's been wet, but if it was
I've never played
up,
out of a divot. Like, would it make a big difference out of a divot?
Huge.
Like a huge difference?
Huge.
Really?
You just have to play it totally different. You shouldn't have to if you hit the fairway.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's right by any means. I'm just trying to figure out the logic there.
Isn't it?
I don't get it, but that was a good point. I forget who even said that, but it's a very good point.
There's like 3 people who
I think
said
there's a
that
few
one.
people, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of what we mentioned on last show was like, we didn't have a huge sample size. It was probably 30 people who responded. And there was 9 people out of that sample size who said the same 3 things. So, it's when you consider that, that's probably how the general populace feels about it. So make the change, golf. Hi, golf. Please change these things. You know what I mean? Like, call golf.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know.
Well, if these new leagues and stuff want to succeed, then I think they should kind of need some advice from guys like that. Like Rory was very vocal about stuff like that. So I think they got to take some criticism.
That's a really good point.
And turn them around.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that that's a huge opportunity for them to take advantage of that and to attract players and say, we don't have to listen to these guys who have been making the rules for the last 100 years.
Well, it gives them an option, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, some things will change and some parts of golf shouldn't change, in my opinion. But there's a lot of things like laws and stuff that are based around how life was 100 years ago. And you look at life today versus even 20 years ago, and it's like a totally different place, technology and everything.
I just think if they're going to do that, if they're going to try to revamp the game, I think that there's a very fine line there too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to make it too innovative that it's not the game of golf anymore.
Yeah. You don't want to go full XFL.
Yeah. It's not Happy
exactly.
Gilmore.
That's a good example. Even Happy Gilmore, he had to play it off Frankenstein's fat foot, so that's stuck to the rules.
So is that kind of it for what you had there, Rigo?
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
So we do have a bit of news, a bit of an announcement, you would say. It's something that we've been working on for a little while here, and we're going to try her out anyways and see what happens. So I guess just to give a bit of context to the why, as everybody who would be listening to the show or watching the show has seen, we had a couple videos over the last year go viral online, the ones from Gilbert mostly. And we had some issues with it, I guess. I'm sure if Dal's listening to this, he's going to say, why are these guys bitching about this again? But we had a couple bigger accounts basically just steal our stuff and not give us any sort of credit for it. And, life went on. Nothing really changed too much, but it just kind of rubbed us the wrong way. And so what we decided to do, and we figured that there has to be a better way to do this. So kind of what we're going to propose and what we're going to try out for the next little while is we're going to set up a new account, kind of like a golf platform. So the idea of it is a golf platform. We want to have the best content for golf in the world, which is a pretty big bar, I guess, that we're setting for ourselves. But we're actually going to start paying people for their golf content. So the reason we wanted to announce that on this show is because we want to give our community, I guess, the first chance to try this out. So we're going to set up a couple portals in November and December online, and you'll be able to go in there and upload videos, any golf videos that you have on your phone. Obviously, we're not going to be golfing in November anymore, so it won't be anything fresh. But take a look in your camera roll. If you have any videos that you think we could use, we'll have more information in the next week or so. But maybe send us a message if this is something that you would be interested in. We're going to start paying people to use their content. So it will be in a little bit different currency. It's actually going to be paid in TFUEL, which I think will attract a lot of the youth. I know that a lot of kids nowadays are getting into like the Dogecoin, the Shiba Inu. And I think once they hear about TFUEL and the capability of that, they're going to be very intrigued by it. So we're going to have the platform. We're going to pay people to use their stuff, and we're going to build up this content page and platform, and hopefully attract the best golf videos on the internet. And kind of the main goal of ours is to, when somebody has a really good video, that we want to be the first people that they think of. So it's going to be called The Kingdom after the podcast. And the podcast will kind of be a branch out of that and still tie back to our original King Golf brand. And pretty excited to see what happens with it. I know it'll be a process and a learning process, as obviously we're not IT experts or anything like that, but we do want you guys to reach out to us. And if you have something to send us, we want to try transacting with each other and try the portals out, try sending TFUEL, and get that built up. And hopefully, in 2022, we can go full steam ahead with it. So I'm getting tired of talking, and I'm sure you guys are tired of listening, whoever is listening to this. So do you guys have any comments or input or questions about it? I told you guys to have some softballs for me, so hopefully there's a couple here.
I guess so. Kind of run through how you would envision an uploader or one of the listeners, how their goings about would happen. Like, would they create an account and then upload to the portal?
Yep.
Is it after so many hits or views, their payments go and that type of thing? Are they paid at a one-time fee?
So we don't have everything totally figured out yet. I'm guessing when we start paying for a portal, people will basically log in. They'll go to the website, they'll set up an account on there, and then they'll upload the videos. And so basically their profile will have everything that they've uploaded onto there. And then in terms of the payment, we'll be looking through the videos, and we'll kind of have a structure in terms of like maybe say A, B, C, D. So the A videos will pay out, say 20 TFUEL or something like that. The B videos that, we're not going to use right now, but we could use in other, whether it's a YouTube video or even advertising for King Golf stuff, we'll give a B rating to, and then we'll send, say 10 fuel for that, 10 TFUEL, and so on like that. So that's the plan in terms of one-time payment. I think that's the plan, where we would basically say, hey, we want to use this video. We want to put it on our Kingdom platform. We're going to give you 30 TFUEL. Just sign this contract. We don't own the video. We're just using it basically. And so we'll send the payment basically instantly. And then I'm thinking that if like a video goes crazy viral, we'll have some sort of subjective measure to say, hey, you definitely earned this, so we're going to send you another 100 TFUEL just for that. Like, it won't be really worked into the contract.
Kind of like a tip,
more of like a
tip
like
incentive.
a thank you. Yeah, for sure.
What platforms is it going to be on? All?
Like the videos?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll kind of depend. I'm sure you guys have noticed, or maybe not, but there's different platforms kind of are for different videos. So for example, TikTok doesn't really like the sideways angle of, or horizontal, I guess, view. It's more of like a vertical up and down, because that takes up the whole phone screen. And if you have it horizontally, it basically cuts the video in half. So I would say everything. We're going to have stuff on an Instagram account, and we're going to have a Twitter account, the Kingdom. YouTube will be a little bit more tricky, and I think that'll take more time as we build up our content library, I guess you would call it, YouTube over time. But I think that a lot of it will actually be on TikTok. And if you haven't checked out our TikTok yet, we got some good stuff on there. We've been going at it for a couple of years now. It was definitely a learning experience to start. And then we had a couple viral videos on there. But we got quite a few followers on there. It's a pretty cool place, other than, it being Chinese and everything. But the thing that really drew me to this was I can see, you've heard Facebook talking about the metaverse. Drums and I were talking about it earlier. TFUEL and Theta are actually going to be a huge contributor to that. And so what we want to do is really bring like the physical aspect of golf that we all love already, and kind of bring the virtual and online part of it and kind of combine them. So we have a few ideas of how we're going to do that. But with TFUEL, unlike say 10 years ago or 5 years ago, if we wanted to do this, Rigo would send in a video from Dauphin of him sinking a 40-foot downhill slider, and we would have to get all of his banking information and make sure he's in the right country and pay like a bank to do the transaction. Whereas this way, basically all Rigo would need is he'd go to the App Store and set up a Theta wallet, which takes like 30 seconds to do. He includes his public address in the contract, and we send it. It takes 2 minutes. That's it. Like, it's such a, yeah, I mean, it is the future, but we're already kind of there. So we want to implement this into kind of what we're doing here. So in terms of who should be doing it, really anybody. I think that the starting point for anybody who's listening to this is just have a scan through your camera roll and see if there's any videos. We're not looking for like a a Pat Wojcik putt that's going to have 30 million views on it. It's just like, it's content because people love watching golf and they like watching shots on golf shots and putts and stuff like that. It's just kind of crazy to me, but I love it too. So I can understand.
And the thing about it is, like, really, for everybody listening, like, why not? Why not send it? I mean, it's not costing you anything to send it to us. So I mean, it's not really doing anything. I mean, if you post a video out there, it can get taken anyway. So why not send it to us and make some money from it? You know?
And so if you do have some footage, just maybe for now, we wanted to give you a heads up. We're going to have more information, hopefully, in the next week or so. So by the time you listen to this and check out your camera roll, see what you got. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular that you think has to go viral. It's just content. And we really want to show off the community that we have here and that we're going to continue to build at King. And I think it could be pretty cool because if you look at some of those golf accounts that are online, say the Zaire, the Scratch, they basically just relied upon people to give them videos basically for free. They pay nothing. Scratch doesn't even acknowledge the people who send it in. Zaire, I will give credit to. They're pretty good. They're pretty legit. But I mean, there's room for it, and I think that if we're the first people that come to mind for people, that we're going to attract the best content across the globe. And that's the other cool thing too, is it's not limited to Canada. There could be a kid in Australia who has some stuff on his phone, and we could send him TFUEL in 2 minutes. Okay. Well, for the 17th time tonight, we've had some issues, so I don't know what's going on. But anyways, if you're listening to this, you're very early in this, and we are early in it too. We're gonna try it out and see what happens. Who knows? It's gonna be a learning experience for us. But if you're listening to this, take a look at your camera roll, see what you got, look at your inventory. We'll give you instructions on how to upload it. Final thought is if you have any interest at all in investing in it, because part of the whole payment structure will be we need a fund to stake the TFUEL so it can earn and pay people out. So if you're interested in getting into crypto, this is a really unique way of doing it. If you have no idea what it's about, but you want to get into it, I think that this would really be a good gateway for people to get into and try out without a huge risk involved in it, and being part of like a golf community that's taking part in this. I don't even know what you'd call it, but transition into a different kind of world that we're going to be living in. So that's that. If anybody has any questions about it or comments or any ideas on it, let us know, because as I said, we're still early in the process and we're very open to different ideas and changes to it. So with that, we'll get into our post of the week. What do you got, Rigo?
Man, I was just looking at the screen. I haven't really looked at the screen. I look like I'm like 400 fucking pounds in this sweater.
You're not?
Like, am I 400?
Yeah, you put on the COVID weight.
Holy hell.
Chubby boy.
Good thing this isn't Tinder. Anyways, social media post. Kind of a cool one. Outlines what a grind it is to try to play competitive golf. It was at Hannah Gregg. It was basically just a tweet that summed up all the costs that go into playing in a tournament. So the entry fee, the flight, the rental car, the hotel totals $3,050, and that doesn't include food, caddies, books, etc. So basically the point that she was trying to make was that the best golfers aren't always guaranteed to make it. It's who can afford to lose money the longest and catch a break that eventually get on tour. Now, obviously, if you're good enough, you're going to get there regardless. But there is a very, very, very big chunk of golfers that, like she says, it basically comes down to running out of money before you finally catch that break. And that's what really golf is for that middle tier. It's just getting that one. Like, for all we know, this could be Cockrell's break this week. He gets into this tournament late, goes over there, wins. Top 5 even. Like, it could it's just stuff like this that turn a whole career around. Then he gets full status on the European Tour next year. Like, it's just that's how stuff happens. I mean, they said that unfortunately Vic had to come in and win it, but like that field last week was loaded with players who there's so many unique stories because it was the week before in Bermuda, right?
Right.
When there was all those dropouts. So they said that was just like loaded with the potential for there to be a game changer. And that's all that these guys need. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a pretty cool tweet, but just sums up how hard it is.
Yeah, like if you think about it, the major money earners are the top, even just rounded up, round number of 100, top 100 golfers. But think about the rest of the world, how many golfers there are in major tournaments and different tours. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's just that one break, really. No, not one, because you got to be really good.
Well, you've got to be good enough too and get your break.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that are good enough. Never get that break. Anyways, that's
what do you got, buddy?
Mine was a tweet from is he a reporter? He's a reporter for CBS Boston, and it's a video of Ernie Johnson, is he the host or the anchor for TNT, with Chuck and Shaq and the boys. But he gives a speech and he basically just talks about his son who passed away on Saturday, I believe, who had muscular dystrophy. He was adopted from Romania. And just the way this guy speaks, he would have made an unreal coach in some sport. But the way he delivers the message of appreciating what you have. It's a 5-minute video, and I don't want to kind of give much more into it. It's a video that I think people should watch just to help put everything in perspective. And it is emotional, but he delivers every part of it perfectly.
I'm gonna check it out now.
Ernie Johnson is his name?
Yeah. Do you ever watch like their clips of is it TNT or NBA Tonight or whatever
TNT.
it is? Yeah.
Hilarious.
So good.
Shaq is unbelievable.
Shaq and Chuck.
And Chuck is hilarious too. God, those guys are funny.
Those guys are awesome, man.
They're so funny.
They are. They're like, I don't get much out of like the TV personalities anymore, especially with hockey. It's kind of like,
well, the new is pretty sick though. The TNT is sick. With Biz and Biz and Gretz.
Oh, I haven't watched that.
Yeah, I've seen some. I haven't watched it, but I've seen a few clips, and it's.
Is it Talkit too?
Well, it rotates with Talkit and Anson Carter, I think.
Yeah.
But Gretz is only there like, I think he's only a handful of games a year.
It's so funny that him and Biz are like tight now.
They're like buddies.
Listen to Biz talk about it on Spit and Chicklets. It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
Like he's FaceTiming him and shit. Like, oh God. I love Biz.
Could you imagine having Wayne Gretzky's phone number? And you
FaceTiming him.
And you just FaceTime him.
He FaceTimed Biz the other day. Like, what? Just a FaceTime from the great one. Okay. All right.
And Jor, what have you got for us, buddy?
Wayner is kind of, he's been in the mix though for a while, like with DJ, and like he's been in that kind of age group of, you know, he's around.
Well, and I think he likes the sauce.
Oh yeah.
He's not like a Mario Lemieux who's kind of just like pure. I mean, Gretz is a classy guy, but Mario's like, he would never kind of get into that scene, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm. But it is cool to see.
Word?
Maybe.
Oh, for sure it is.
But it is cool to see like Wayne kind of open up.
100%.
And just have a good time.
I love it.
It's amazing. Could you imagine if like they had 24/7 back in the 80s?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Oh, that'd be unreal.
It'd be 1,000 times better than today's.
Oh man, that'd be phenomenal. Think of the cancel culture that'd be going on for those.
Is it Brett Hull the other day that said it's shitty now for these guys?
Yeah. Well, I can see Holly saying that. I didn't see that.
It's kind of that way for everybody though.
Mm-hmm.
Like 10 years ago, you'd have to bring a digital camera to the bar. Like you had a digital camera in your pocket to take pictures.
Yeah, I never
So
thought
CDs.
about that.
the entire world has a phone now. Like even homeless people have phones.
That's weird.
So you can't get away with jack shit. You just can't.
There's only one person I know that doesn't have a phone.
Pat,
Pat. He doesn't have a phone. Like
How is
I
that
think that's the craziest thing in the world.
no home phone?
Nothing. You can't get hold of him unless you go to his house.
That's so crazy to think about. But awesome at the same time.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
except when he comes into your office 3 times a week and asks you to use the phone.
Yeah, true. You'd be a nuisance. But just think about that. Like not even getting away with stuff like in a bad way, but you can't do anything now without somebody having their phone out and filming you.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Nothing. And okay, and then rewind 10 years before that. You had one of those freaking like full out camcorders if you wanted to video or anything on your shoulders. Those things weighed 40 pounds. Like Dad used to have one.
I don't know. What do you got for us tonight?
I actually have a golf one tonight. Did you guys see that? I don't even know how to pronounce his name. It's like John
Johnny Ha, yeah.
Did you see his hole in one?
No.
Oh man,
I
it was
love
so funny.
him though.
Yeah, it was so funny. So he gets his ace. It's like it must have been like a kind of a tucked hole behind like a ridge or something at the front of the green. So he gets a hole in one, and it was like I don't know, he would have been like middle of the pack or worse. So there's nobody really even watching. So it went in. There's no cheers or anything. So he's wondering if it went in. And some lady like gives him a thumbs up, but he doesn't know if she's saying yes or just like waving at him or something. So it went on for like 30 seconds. He didn't know whether to celebrate or to what to do. So it was just kind of a really awkward hole in one. And even when he found out that it was in, he didn't believe that it was in. And so pretty funny. You just don't see that much in PGA. Like that's something that would happen like in an amateur event because there's no crowd there or anything watching.
Right.
But he had no idea that it went in the hole for like 20 seconds. And then once he did, it kind of lost its jam because it was like, it was just weird almost. So pretty good stuff.
Beauty.
So we're going to try, in the meantime, before we get the kingdom set up, we'll do some threads on our post of the week. So missed it last time, I think, but I couldn't find my freaking video of that Cooper guy. I searched high and low for it and I couldn't find a way to put it on Twitter, and then I just forgot about it. So we'll get these ones on there.
Perfect. Well, should we get out of here and try to piece some audio and video together?
It's been a really long episode.
This was a tough one. And I don't know what it's going to be like to listen to. So sorry, but we had a lot of shit happen tonight, and it's hard to keep your spirits high when there's stuff like this happening. I think Drum smashed at least 2 pens over his head. So
yeah,
also,
I gotta go for a walk.
Also, the time change doesn't help this at all right now. I'm fading. Boys are fading. Time to get out.
All right, boys. Well, let's get out of here. Peace.
Okay.
Love you. Later.
Love you, fellas.